Alrighty. Hello there. Atheist Junior here, your friend and humble narrator. And in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to the news of Mr. Kent Hovind getting arrested on charges allegedly. Okay, so it's alleged, but charges of domestic abuse. Now, I tweeted this picture out that I got from Miss Cindy, who is obviously the person who filed the charges towards Kent on August 4th. So I'm going to read this article. Conecuh County Sheriff deputies arrested Dr. Dino, which I love that that's in quotes, on Friday. According to records at the Conecuh County Jail in Evergreen, deputies arrested Kent E. Hovind, age 68, Friday, on charges of third-degree domestic violence. Hovind, who goes by the nickname Dr. Dino, lives in Lenox at Dinosaur Adventureland, a dinosaur-themed Christian camp and hands-on science center. Hovind, who previously spent 9 years in federal prison for violating federal banking laws, was released from the county jail on Friday on a $1,000 signature bond. Warrants for Hovind's arrest were issued on July 19th. Oh wow, I didn't know that. So that was quite a while before he actually got arrested. I guess they had trouble finding him. And state that he allegedly threw a woman to the ground with the intent to cause injury to the alleged victim. The woman, whose name was withheld, lives at a residence on State Highway 41 in the Rage community. Why would you withhold her name and then say sort of where she lives? That's bizarre to me. But yeah, so this is a front page article. I guess not that much happens in Conecuh County, so this was big news. And I am happy to see this article saying masks to be required in schools. You know, wear your masks, guys, and get vaccinated if you can. Okay, so I'm going to go through a few documents related to this arrest, and then I'm going to show a clip from one of his videos, which is just the beginning of Kent's public relations damage control campaign that he's obviously starting. And then, because, you know, I'm going to be going through this fairly quickly, after that, I'm also going to be reacting to the second Zoom call that Kent Hovind did. Now, I had to edit this call because, first of all, it was fairly long. So I edited it down from like 1 hour to about 20 minutes. And the main reason I edited it was because Kent Hovind gives out the phone numbers of two people in the video. So I wasn't going to show those. Obviously, Kent Hovind is a doxer who gives out people's personal information. So here we have the bond. And you can see, I know this might be kind of hard to read, but it's for it's for $1,000. And you could see Kent's, you got Kent's name on here. It's a signature bond, like the article said. The reason that I'm showing this is because Kent is going to try and sort of deny, I think, that he got arrested, or he's going to try and obfuscate what actually happened. And I just want to show proof that he really did get arrested. This is the affidavit and warrant, so I'm going to read this real quick. In the District Court of Conecuh County, Alabama. Before me, a magistrate of said county personally appeared this day, Cindy Lincoln, and made oath that it should say she, I think, she has probable cause for believing, and does believe, that before the filing of this complaint, Kent Hovind, whose name is otherwise unknown to the affiant, did commit the crime of assault, third, pursuant of the Code of Alabama, to wit, did with intent to cause physical injury to another person, cause physical injury to Cindy Lincoln by throwing her to the ground, while the victim is a current or former spouse, parent, child, or any person with whom the defendant has a child in common, a present or former household member, or a person who has had a dating or engagement relationship. So this is just establishing that this was domestic violence. And everything that I say in this video is allegedly, okay? Allegedly. I'm not saying that I know for a fact that Kent Hovind did this, because I wasn't there, you know, as Ken Ham would say. But I'm going to try and remain neutral in this video and just sort of report the facts as I see them. Okay. And this was filed on the 19th of July. And you have it signed by the magistrate. And okay, so this is the warrant. It took them a long time to pick Kent up. And here we have a screenshot of the bond. So you can see Kent's name here, arrest, domestic violence. Over here in the top right, Conecuh County, Repton, July 19th, 2021. And state of Alabama, Kent Hovind, domestic violence. So this is fairly cut and dry. So let's watch Kent's reaction.
Mudslinging. How many have ever heard of mudslinging? If you know, when you sling mud at a pig, he loves it, right? There's some people slinging mud at me. I got 2 calls in the last hour from reporters saying, "Heard you got arrested." There are 2 guys who used to be.
He looks very shocked about that. Yeah, I mean, this is basically news. Kent, you're a public figure. And I don't think it's considered mudslinging if it's just describing something that's actually happened. And it's not like you've never participated in trying to publicly shame people on the internet, on this very channel that you don't like. You pretty much do it all the time, Kent, so this makes you a hypocrite to complain about this.
Be here, we've banned them from the property. One was discharged from the military for mental issues and still has them pretty seriously. That's Mark out in Washington.
Mudslinging. More and more giving out of people's locations. Why?
And he is calling all kinds of people, trying to stir up trouble, make accusations against me. So in our system, and another one's Aaron, who we had to ban from the property. He was here for a while. Anyway, one of them, in our system, you're guilty until proven innocent. All you got to do is make an accusation. Here's what happened in the book of Acts, chapter 16.
No, that's not true. You're not guilty until proven innocent. But in cases of accusations by a woman of domestic violence against a husband who is 6'2" and over 210 pounds, in this country, we tend to believe the women when they say that they've been victimized in these situations. And it's for that person's safety that the alleged abuser is taken off of the streets and is arrested. That's not you being guilty until proven innocent because you haven't been convicted of any crime. You've been accused, like you said, you have a charge. That charge can be overturned or dropped later in court, and then it'll basically be eventually it'll come off of your record. I could be wrong about the specifics of this, but if you were guilty, they wouldn't have let you get bailed out of jail now, would they, Kent? I mean, guilty until proven innocent. I mean, it's ridiculous. What a ridiculous thing to say.
When her masters saw that the hope of their gains was gone, and that's what happened to Mark and Aaron, they can't make any money off us anymore, so they're going to sling mud instead. They caught Paul and Silas and drew them into the marketplace unto the ruler.
It sounds to me like you can't get any physical labor out of these people anymore, so you're slinging mud at them. that seems more more accurate, what's actually happening.
And brought them to the magistrate, saying, "These men do exceedingly trouble our city." And that's what they're doing. They're calling all kinds of people in Repton and Lenox, saying, "Oh, these people are causing trouble." I've been a Baptist preacher 47 years. Anyway,
what does that have to do with anything? And I thought you said you got called by 2 reporters, not Mark and this other person that you kicked out of DAL. I'm assuming that he's talking about Mark, who I talked to on my channel. The interesting thing is, it sounded like he actually said Mark's last name, but they censored it out. That's weird. I don't know. It seemed like the audio cut out there. Maybe it was just a coincidence.
They teach customs not lawful for us to receive. So when they laid many stripes upon them, they beat them and then threw them in prison and then took them to trial. Guilty till proven innocent. It's sad, but that's the way America's degenerated. Somebody makes an accusation, bang, you get arrested. Now you got to prove innocence, okay? Guilty till proven innocent. So we got to wash the mud off just real quickly here tonight.
If you were guilty until proven innocent, you wouldn't have a trial. You would just go to jail, and that would be the end of it. You know, this isn't like Saudi Arabia or some like third world country. As messed up as America's justice system and legal system is, you are innocent until proven guilty.
Tonight, we're going to come out squeaky clean. There's nothing to be concerned about. But I'll ask our mechanic to say, what happened in your case, just real quickly? You were accused, arrested, and, for doing nothing.
I went from my bed to a jail cell in 20 minutes.
You woke up in bed after working all night. You're
The
sleeping.
woman screaming at me. I never touched her. She said I was going to jail. She said I made a threatening gesture. She told her son to lie to the police or she was going to beat him up. And I was completely innocent and kicked out of my house for 3 months.
For a false accusation. Guilty till proven innocent. Brother, you said something similar happened to you?
Yep. Yeah, they arrested me. I ended up having to prove it in court, but they kept saying, "Oh, you're the owner of this truck, right?" Well,
So you got to be guilty.
yeah, got be guilty. But it wasn't me. It was him that owned it.
Okay, those stories sounded like complete BS to me. But Ken, it's not like you were just picked up by the cops for no reason. You yourself played audio of Cindy screaming in pain, as if that made you seem innocent, which it didn't. It had the opposite effect. Okay. And you have a history with her of emotional and mental abuse. Not only that, she had the records from the hospital and the chiropractor showing that there was damage to her backside and bruising. So it's not like there was just no evidence.
Well, yeah, I didn't get handcuffed or anything, but they did take me in and fingerprint me and said,
Bullshit. Bullshit, he didn't get handcuffed. I guarantee you that's a lie. I guarantee you he's lying about that, dude. You don't get picked up for domestic violence and not get handcuffed, okay? When Ken Hovind got his assault and battery charge back in like 2002, they handcuffed him. That's what happens when you get arrested. You get handcuffed. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Do the people in the room believe this? What, the cops were just nice to you and they just didn't handcuff you? Unbelievable.
Said, okay, you got another charge. This lady's charging you with something. So, okay, so it'll all be fine. But when it's over,
this lady doesn't want to say who it actually is.
then it's our turn for defamation of character and for slander and for stuff like that. So, yeah, then it's our turn. So anyway, we're going to be squeaky clean here.
It almost sounds like he was saying, "Oh, it's going to be our turn to defame people's character." Okay, Hovind, domestic violence, Hovind. Okay.
Let me call Brady real quick. He wants to weigh in on this. He does this kind of stuff all the time and has had it happen to him. It's pretty sad. This is just a brief.
Okay, maybe we'll come back to this video, but that was all I really wanted to show. So for the rest of the stream, I'm going to be reacting to this video, which on my channel, I did a reaction, or I just uploaded the first Zoom call, which was Cindy giving her side and then Kent responding. This is the second Zoom call, and Kent has uploaded this to his channel. Now, this is an edited version because I had to edit out some personal information of people that Kent put in this video, and I basically edited out the parts that weren't Kent talking. But this video is uploaded unlisted on Kent's channel. So he's going to talk here about how he's trying to get the truth out with this video, but it's got like 700 views. So I don't know why, if that was a mistake or if he just wanted to upload this without that many people seeing it, but he can still say, oh, I uploaded it. Okay. Oh, Hovind. Wife beater, Hovind. Okay.
Paul said, they neither found me in the temple disputing with any man, neither raising up the people, neither in the synagogues nor in the city, neither can they prove the things whereof they now accuse me. And I challenge my accusers, show me what I did wrong, okay? I schedule these meetings to get the truth out and to protect the cause of Christ.
I mean, I just did, but okay. Hold it. Sorry, I've got something in my throat. Hovind. Sorry.
A lot of things have been said about me and about this ministry, and they're spreading them all over the internet. I think I have an obligation to protect the cause of Christ and to protect my reputation. Brady, number one, I've been accused of breaking a law to go to prison. Brady, are you on there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, did I break any laws to deserve to go to prison?
Not a single one.
Okay. Did I steal anything from the government?
No, you did not.
Okay, I've been accused on the internet of stealing money from the government, of not paying some tax. I've never paid the alcohol tax in my life. Do you know why? I don't drink alcohol. I don't buy any alcohol. There's thousands of taxes. If you owe one, you ought to pay it. I did not defraud the government of any money.
What does this have to do with the current situation? I mean, I have other streams where I go in detail talking about how Kent obviously did break a law, and you could say what he did was stealing from the government, because everybody who's an American citizen has to pay taxes. Okay, now obviously that we don't like that. Nobody wants to have some of the money taken out of their paycheck, but there's a reason that we do that. It's to help pay for the police and firefighters that protect you. It's to help pay for the roads and sidewalks that you drive and walk on. It's to help pay for the privilege of living in the United States of America and being protected by the greatest military force in the world and kept safe. And trying to equivocate income tax or withholding Social Security tax on your employees, and they were employees, with paying sales tax on buying alcohol is a straw man argument, and it's just stupid. I have other videos where I go into how Kent was guilty here. I'm not going to get into that here because it's irrelevant.
So those two can be off the list. Item number 3, a guy in Cincinnati, I think his phone number, he'll be excited I give out that number, called and mockingly asked me a couple days ago, how many wives have you had, Hovind? I said 47,213. I told him I was a virgin on my honeymoon, have never left or divorced any woman, I've never cursed at them or hit them or failed to provide for them, and I've never touched a woman I was not married to. Can you say the same? Click, end of call. So that's it. Apparently not, okay?
That happened. That definitely happened. I mean, I imagine that this call happened, but yeah, I don't think that the conversation ended the way he said it did. And okay, so I don't support the idea of calling Kent to just harass him. I mean, it's a little bit funny, I'm not going to lie, but what does this have to do with the guy's question? Why does it invalidate what he's asking? If you were a virgin on your honeymoon, who cares? I don't want to know that. You know, I don't take any value in not having sex before marriage, and frankly, I think it's unrealistic, and I think it's a ridiculous goal to try and live up to. I don't see the merit in it. So there's no value in you saying this, and I don't believe you anyway.
Mhm.
Well, today would have been July 14th, would have been my 48th wedding anniversary with Joe Hovind. I dated 300 girls.
Joven, Joven, Joven,
Before choosing her.
domestic abuse, Joven.
We dated several years and married just before my senior year in college. And I start off my
Wait,
seminar. If you get my videotape,
did that say he dated 300 girls?
you'll hear me show a picture, this picture, and say, this is not my wife. This is just a picture of her. Well, she was my wife for 42 years. Both virgins on our honeymoon, happily married for 42 years, raised 3 children, 5 grandchildren, never touched a woman I wasn't married to. Can my accusers say the same? We had a wonderful marriage, lived in Pensacola, Florida for a long time. While I was unjustly incarcerated for 9 years, my son, Eric, was placed in charge of the ministry assets to continue the ministry.
Yeah, Kent Hovind dated 300 girls before meeting Joe and didn't have sex with any of them. He was a virgin on his honeymoon. I love how he's simultaneously trying to brag and sound like some sort of Casanova that's dated literally hundreds of women, but at the same time, he's trying to brag about how modest he is. It's like those two things are directly contradictory, Kent.
Used my mailing list of donors to raise money to buy the properties back from the government for Dad. When the government put me in prison, they seized at least 4 of the ministry. We were buying up properties in the neighborhood to be able to build a dinosaur adventureland like we have here. And we had bought up several homes around us to be able to expand. I said, son, you're in charge. Take care of stuff while I go to prison. He raised the money with my mailing list and started a new ministry called God Quest. He bought the properties back, but put them in the name of his new ministry.
Yes, because GodQuest was a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. Eric Hovind had to do this because since Kent refused to have DAL be a 501c3, if Eric would have bought back these properties and then put them under the name of an illegal ministry, because that's effectively what it was, they would have just got snapped back up right away. They would have gotten taken right back for the same reason they got taken in the first place. So Eric Hovind got the money together and bought those properties fair and square and put them under a new ministry that was above board and legal. As far as I can tell, Eric Hovind's ministry is totally legal. It's a 501, even CSE is a 501c3 corporation now, but it wasn't at the time. So this wasn't a bad thing that Eric did. This was what Eric basically had to do to retain the property rights.
He also transferred 7 or 8 more ministry properties into his new ministry and rented them out and has been renting them ever since. Brady, is this accurate?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, Joe was now dependent on him for housing and income. I was in prison.
Brady, is the sky green? Yeah, it's green. Yeah, it's definitely green, Kent. Okay. However, sky's green.
While I was in prison, he transferred all the assets into his new ministry name. The Hovind family lived for 9 years off the rental income and sale of my intellectual property while
Is that a bad thing? Isn't that what you wanted?
I was in prison. That's fine.
Okay.
But they are still living off the rental income from the properties that should have been returned to me when I returned 6 years ago.
All these properties, I only have 200 acres of land in Alabama. I also need properties in a different city that I don't live in. Hold on.
6 years and a couple of days ago. Did I do wrong? Show me. What have I done wrong with the situation with my family? Brady, did I do anything wrong? You've been in on this since day one.
Well, you publicly smeared them. One could almost say that you were mudslinging.
I do not believe so at all.
Okay. Anybody else want to chime in on this? Okay. If the economy crashes and they need to get out of town, I will still take them in and feed and house them today. Okay. There's no bitterness on my part. I just want them to get right with God. I think Eric should return all the.
Clearly, there's no bitterness. And I love that. Only if the economy crashes will he take them in. Only under that circumstance. Well, don't you think that that's going to happen this year, Kent? Like in September because of, or November, because of the rapture is coming? Shouldn't you be preparing for that then?
Stuff. And then we can work out a deal where I don't want the properties, but he should give them back. And I'll say, Eric, you rent them out. You manage it for me. I'll give you a certain percentage. Okay. My first day home was July 8th, 2015, after the 9 years of prison. After the welcome home party, I was walking down the hall to the bedroom, and Joe pointed to a different room and said, you are sleeping in there now.
Owned. Ouch.
That was not my wishes after 9 years of prison. Eric informed me that he now owned everything, including my socks and underwear, and that I could stay in the house if I behaved. I said, son, I bought this. Shut
up. Hovind is talking, okay? Don't interrupt Dr. Hovind.
And pay rent. I said, son, I bought this house when you were like 9 years old. He said, it's mine now, Dad. He made me pay $600 a month rent to stay in that house. We had to fight him to get my intellectual property back. He kept selling my DVD series because that was his income and refused to return it to me. And my web domain, Dr. Dino.
How do you need him to return the DVD sets to you? Just make more. What? I just put them on you. What?
.com. We had to pay to get it back from him. The website that I made up when he was about 8 years old. Joe filed for divorce, and in Florida, it's a no-fault state. If someone wants a divorce, they get it. We were in divorce court for 6 minutes. Alex, you're an attorney in Florida. Florida is a no-fault divorce. If one person wants it, they get it.
That's not completely true. In Florida, they will still recommend marriage counseling. So Kent didn't try and prevent this divorce from happening like he said he did. And I highly doubt that any court proceeding could happen in 6 minutes. They always take forever. Why does he lie like this? I don't understand. Am I supposed to be impressed by how short the divorce proceeding was?
Is that correct?
That's 100% correct, Pastor.
Okay. When we walked out of the court, I asked her to marry me. She refused. After 9 months, after getting home, about 9 months, this property in Alabama was given to us, and I moved up here. Eric still has today about 12 rental properties and lots of my museum displays, like 8 Ica stones that I paid $1,500 each.
I hope that that's not true, because those stones are complete BS. That's like what, like $60,000? I might be really bad at math. Like 6,000? Don't pay attention. Somebody who's good at math in the comments, let me know how much that costs. But okay. Also, this is a good point in the chat. Kent's intellectual property is just made up of a bunch of stuff from other young earth creationists that he's cobbled together. He even named his ministry almost identically to Walt Brown, whose was called Creation Science. He just tacked on the word evangelism to his. The whole flood theory, hydroplate theory, his story about where did God come from, that's from somebody else. Everything about the 6-day creation, Kent did come up with that. I mean, maybe packaging it together and adding crappy jokes to it. Okay, $12,000. I was like way off. But that's still, those are just rocks. Those are rocks that somebody carved fake pictures of dinosaurs in, and then they literally covered them with chicken dung to try and make them look older. You can look that up.
For those stones from Ica, Peru, that show dinosaurs and humans on there. He still has them, refuses to return them. He has the ministry trailers, all the ministry properties, the sulfur balls from Sodom and Gomorrah. He has all kinds of ministry equipment. He refuses to return them. I think he ought to get 1,000 phone calls, say, Eric, give the stuff back to your dad, and then work out a deal with him. I don't want the properties back, but I think in order for him to get right with God, it should be done. Should he return the properties? He should return them and museum items today. And then he should ask if he can keep the profits from using them for the last 15 years. We can work out a deal, son. You can call him. No, I'm sorry, I got his phone, wrong phone. Hear his side. Bill, Paul, Ernie, is this accurate? Brady, you've been in on this from the beginning.
I believe it is.
Did I do anything wrong to deserve what happened?
I'm going to have to edit out that part. I thought I didn't show the number at all. Damn it, Kent. You are such a doxer. You think Eric should get 1,000 phone calls? That's harassment. Also known as brigading. What the hell is wrong with you?
Happened with Eric and the ministry assets. Brady, you were in
I
on
don't
it.
believe so.
Okay. Did I do
I
anything?
don't believe so at all.
Okay. Did I do anything wrong to have Joe divorce me after 42 years of marriage?
No.
Now, the judge locked her up gave her a year and a day sentence. She served 9 months in prison. It's the judge's fault, the corrupt system. Even though I did nothing wrong to deserve having Joe divorce me after 42 years of marriage, I would still take her back today, since I made a promise. If the economy crashes, I will take all the Hovinds in at Dinosaur Adventureland and provide for them. You're invited up here. Now, the Bible says in 1 Timothy, a bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife. I think the Bible teaches clearly that the leader of the church or the leader of a ministry has to be married, has to be the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, good behavior, etc. In Titus, it says the same thing. For this cause left I thee in Crete, that thou shouldst set in order the things that are wanting, ordain elders in every city as I appointed thee, if any be blameless, the husband of one wife. The leader has to be married, otherwise it causes all kinds of conflict and kinds of rumors going around, okay? The pastor, I think, has to be married. Having faithful children, not accused of riot or unruly, not soon angry. A bishop must be blameless, not soon angry. You won't find anybody that's been able to tell you, I have a habit of being vicious and angry and yelling and screaming. I just don't do that, okay?
It's possible to be emotionally abusive without yelling and shouting and cursing at somebody. And this is a common tactic that a lot of people who are abusers in relationships do. What they do is they will pester a person and emotionally abuse them until they get to their breaking point, and the person is now yelling and shouting at them, and they'll intentionally remain calm, and they won't raise their voice, they won't act out to make the other person look crazy when they've driven them to that behavior. This is a textbook narcissistic manipulative tactic, and it's abusive. Just because you're not yelling and shouting at somebody does not mean that you're not being physically, emotionally, or mentally abusive. And also, I don't believe you.
Not given to wine, never tasted wine, no striker, I've never hit any of them. Not given to filthy lucre. Money is not my goal in life. Joe, I'm sorry the crooked legal system did this to you. I know you spent 9 months in jail too, and I'm sorry. I didn't send you there. Today is our anniversary, Joe. I'm currently single and will take you back today so we can finish our 50 years. Just call or come visit. You've had me blocked for 5 years now. I can't call you, can't email you. Eric's got me banned from coming back on my own property. I hope you watch
They're not your properties anymore now, are they?
this video, Joe. Give me a call. I still take you back. Neither Eric nor Joe have been up here to
What an outstanding guy you are, Kent.
visit Dinosaur Adventureland.
Oh, I'd still take you back, even after I sent you to jail. Hovind!
70 miles away in the 5.5 years I've been here. Eric has not allowed his 3 kids, my grandkids, to come visit, nor my daughter or her husband. All of them work for him.
That's his prerogative as their father. I wonder why he doesn't want his young children at DAL, Kent. Maybe it's because of the people who were there, like Chris Jones.
He's now the provider for everybody. After Joe divorced me,
God forbid Eric be the provider for his own children. What a bizarre sentiment.
I interviewed Mary Toko, childhoodshots.com. I had recommended her stuff for years. She speaks out against vaccinations and had a great ministry, so I had her interviewed on my YouTube channel. Several of the people that were working in the ministry said, Kent, that's the next Mrs. Hovind right there. You better date her. I said, oh, I never thought of that.
You never thought of that. I should have got the clip ready, but on the CSE videos that were filmed before Kent ever got arrested, I believe in between the years 2000 and like 2002, 2003, there's a slide that has Mary Toko's phone number on there. So Kent knew about her before he ever got arrested back in 2005. I guarantee you that Kent was talking to her when he was in jail. I guarantee you that.
Eventually began dating and eventually married. We didn't kiss each other till the wedding day. We had a wonderful marriage in Lenox for 9 months. Mary Toko, beautiful woman, had great ministry, childhoodshots.com. So we were very happily married for 9 months. Mary and I were. There was a picture on one of the atheist websites about, oh, look, there's his second wife. Yep. One day I came home from preaching and discovered she was gone. She'd been scared by the IRS, is what I was told. Cindy and Mary were best friends, and she helped me try hard to get her back, to no avail. We went up to South Carolina and tried to, Mary, what are you doing? Why? There's no reason to leave. Very happily married for 9 months, and poof, gone while I was gone preaching. I've heard rumors that somebody from the IRS contacted her and said, you better get off the property. I don't know that. I don't know. I still don't know why for sure. The CSC elders eventually advised me, Kent, she's gone. Send an annulment. Now, Joe and I had a state license, but we had marriage license. We had to get a divorce. Mary and I had a marriage covenant. Brady, is a marriage license required to be married?
Absolutely not.
Now, you can get one if you want, but a marriage covenant is what, there was no such thing as a marriage license till after the war. So
a marriage license is something that the person who marries the two people has. He has a license to marry people. It's not something that you get to show whether or not your marriage is valid.
Civil War. So I had an annulment done for Mary and I sent it to her and said, I'll still.
Yeah, if they were living together for 9 months in Alabama, that's long enough to be considered a common law marriage. So as far as I'm concerned and anyone else is concerned, Kent is because Joe straight up really did divorce Kent, but him and Mary are pretty much still technically married to each other.
I'll take you back, and I would still take her back today. If she would come, I made a promise to Mary till death do us part, but she departed. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians, if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or sister is not under bondage. By the way, Jesus called his own disciples unbelievers. Unbeliever doesn't mean unsaved. They just don't believe in their promises. Mary, you can come back today. Okay? Does anyone have any evidence that I did anything wrong in my marriage to Mary or to cause Mary to leave me?
Kent's marriages are more complicated than the space shuttle. That's a good one. Okay, no, a marriage license is the legal document showing two people are legally married. Well, I think it's kind of both because well, I'll get into that later. I could be wrong about that.
She departed, and I'm not under bondage, 1 Corinthians 7:15. Did I do anything wrong there? Brady, you were in on that too. You saw the whole thing.
So you're offering to take, I know he offers to take back Cindy later in this video. I know this wouldn't happen, but what happens if more than one of them takes you up on that offer to come back? Are you going to flip a coin? Like, how are you going to decide which one actually comes back? And that is an ugly tuxedo.
No, you did not.
Okay. So I'm sorry, Mary, you left. If I was in a battlefield and driving a tank and fighting the enemy and my tank quit running or tread fell off, I'd go get another tank and keep fighting. There's a war going on, okay? Cindy had been working hard in the ministry for over a year. She tried hard to get Mary to come back. She and Mary were best friends. She was a great blessing to CSE and had a wonderful servant's heart. We fell in love after Mary left and had an annulment. Cindy and I got married and did not kiss until the wedding day. You skeptics, can you claim that? We're very happily married for over.
No, I didn't kiss Cindy either. So, yeah, I can claim that. I've never kissed Cindy Lincoln.
Over a year, and little issues began to bring anger outbursts from her. her involvement in I told her to manage the science center, but she also wanted to manage lots of other things. It seemed like tell everybody else how to do their job. I say, Cindy, stop. No, you don't do that job. You do this job. And little things would just bring an anger outburst from her. My attorney said, can't record every time she does this.
Cindy is not somebody that I would describe as being very controlling. She's very meek and not in a bad way, but she's somewhat timid. I highly doubt that she was going around ordering other people how to do their jobs. All she cared about was the science center and the ministry. She was happy taking care of that. And it's like I said earlier, if she had outbursts of anger, it's pretty obvious to me that you drove her to that. You drove her to that breaking point because she is not an angry person. That's obvious to me.
For your protection. Cindy sold her house in California that her dad had given her and bought 3 houses here and donated money to the ministry. She was a great blessing in many ways, but her violent outbursts were over generally petty things like leadership decisions and CSE staff conflicts became more common. October 25th, this happened. The body slamming incident. It's even up on the atheist website. I don't know why she's going to atheist.
Hey, that's my video. Guys, we did it. We did it. I'm on Kent's video. This is an atheist website. No, YouTube is not an atheist website. YouTube is just a site. They aren't biased one way or another towards being Christian or being atheist. I have an atheist-themed YouTube channel. It's not an atheist website. Individual YouTube channels are not individual websites. They are under the umbrella of youtube.com.
Websites to post this kind of stuff, but she is. Okay. Let me find how I can play that clip, a 3-minute clip of the so-called body slam. Let's see, how do I do that? I think I go, no.
Yeah, I edited out the clip because I'm not going to be playing this clip again. You can go find it and listen to it if you want. I never want to listen to that thing again. But I talked about Kent's arrest, the information about it in the newspaper at the beginning of the video.
Escape. I've got it. Here's the link to it. Right here. Tell you what, you can go to that link. It's on several things. If you go to some of the websites that are talking about me, I got to find that. Maybe Steve can help me here. Space bar.
Steve,
okay.
how
Want me to play it?
Yeah, can you play it, brother?
Yeah, hold on.
I was coming out of the bedroom. We're having an argument over something, I forget. And she started saying, I said, Cindy, I have to record this when you get out of hand like this. She started screaming and cursing, saying, give me that blankety blank phone. I'm going to break it in half and throw it down the toilet, flush it down the toilet. I said, no, Cindy, I'm sorry, you can't have my phone. I tried to just get outside, okay? Here is where the incident took place in our kitchen. She was trying to grab my phone, and we were in the little hallway, but headed out to the door.
What is this guy on the bottom right doing? What is this? Is this like a webcam show?
And you can hear her, if Steve gets it called up there. So she's claiming I body slammed her. And I did not. I have sworn I did not do that. She said, my dad is bipolar. I know what bipolar is. That's what Cindy has. Cindy will deny it and get angry. But signs of bipolar: extremely high energy, grandiose levels of self-esteem, loud, rapid speech, very little need for sleep, okay? Extreme high energy, engaging in risky behaviors, let's see, little or no sleep. But the depressive side, there are 2 different personalities. Once they get into the depressive side, they have feelings of lethargy, both physically and mentally, a sense of personal worth, eating too much, worthlessness, overwhelming sadness, thoughts of suicide. What triggered me? People that have bipolar or mental illnesses get triggered, or something triggers them and bang, they go off, okay? Maybe because they felt excluded or felt powerless or felt disrespected or felt ignored or felt manipulated, felt unloved, whatever it is, okay? Disruptive mood dysregulation disorder.
Okay. I'm somebody who had a family member, a very close family member, who suffered from bipolar disorder. And I can just say confidently that I know that Cindy is not on any medication for bipolar disorder. And if somebody truly has bipolar, they cannot function without their medicine. They can't live a normal life without it. Their family can't live a normal life without it. Okay? So just because somebody gets mad at you doesn't mean that they're bipolar. Because it's a lot more than that. Being bipolar is about having mood swings where you're either manic or you're depressed. And this is just you trying to say, oh, she's crazy. You know? It's the classic defense of, oh, this is the classic my ex is crazy excuse. It's not going to fly, Kent.
DMDD, big name for it, okay? What causes this? The temper outbursts with chronic irritability. Listen to the tapes. I've got 615 of them, Steve. If we have to, we'll post them all, okay? I don't want to do that. I don't want to hurt Cindy's reputation. She's a wonderful woman in many ways. But she has something wrong, and she goes off, screaming, yelling, cursing, using God's name in vain. Introduced to address pediatric bipolar disorder controversy. All have 4 irritability and temper outbursts. All 4 have irritability and temper outbursts, okay? Anger management. Do you have an anger problem? Okay, I would say yes, she does, okay, after living with her for 3 years. Disruptive mood dysregulation disorder. Okay. Severe recurrent temper outbursts manifest verbally and or behaviorally. Physical aggression towards people or property. She was determined to get my phone that day.
Okay, well, what about Steve trashing the rental property? I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, this is just gross. I'm sure, Kent, that she just has these mood disorders, these mood swings, because she's, what, crazy? It's not anything that you did, right? It sounds to me like you're blaming the victim. And you're the one who got arrested for domestic violence, aka physical aggression towards people, not her, Kent.
And are grossly out of proportion or intensity or duration to the situation. A temper outbursts are inconsistent with developmental level. Means they're acting like a child. They should be a grown adult, but they're screaming like a child, okay? Temper outbursts average 3 to 4 times a week. The mood between outbursts is persistently irritable or angry most of the day, nearly every day. It's observable by others. People see it. Something's wrong. I would guess that over half of the last year of our marriage, she got angry over something and slept in the other room. I have over 600 recordings of her yelling, cursing, being out of control. In February, she left and has not been back.
It seems like a lot of the time your wives don't want to sleep in the same room as you, Kent.
After months of trying, the board recommended that we annul the marriage, file an annulment. So, did I do anything at fault that anybody can say for Cindy leaving? She did not leave over the money. This was October last year. I kept paying her monthly payment until May 2 months ago. So money had nothing to do with this. Body slamming, I did not body slam.
Yeah, because if you're married to somebody and there's problems in the marriage, everybody knows that the relationship ends immediately. And if the person leaves months later, then obviously their reason for leaving was invalid because they didn't leave immediately. It's such a stupid argument.
Body slam incident was in October, way before there were any money complaints, since I paid her $1,300 a month till May. Cindy did not loan any money to the ministry. She bought stuff. She keeps saying, I loaned them $130,000. Cindy, you didn't loan a dime. You bought things. Some things we asked you to buy. Other things you just went and bought. You kept adding it to the bill. Cindy broke her marriage covenant that was made 3 years ago, way before any other problems. She left. February, no reason to leave. Here's the contract that she keeps saying we had. Ernie signed this contract. Constitution of the United States, Article 1, Section 10. Sorry, I photocopied it crooked here. In order to contract for support of the spouse of Dr. Kent Hovind and to incorporate such support into his intellectual property. This was clearly spousal support taken out of my intellectual property. When people buy my DVDs, that money goes into a separate fund. That's my intellectual property. And we paid her from that, okay? Ernie signed that right there. But since she's no longer spouse, she left, the contract is null and void. Cindy, you broke the contract. As far as the one Ernie had, it was for social support. Couldn't be more clear. I intended mine to be that. I didn't get those words in there, but that was the intent all along, that as long as you stay as my wife, I'll keep giving you $1,300 a month for the rest 400 years, okay? $1,300 a month, allowing allow the use of the credit card to spend out of my intellectual support, out of intellectual property, money. So Ernie's contract was clearly for spousal support, and she left, so she broke that contract last February. I kept paying her till May, plus $1,600 more dollars, $16,000 more dollars. When I sold the motorhome, I gave her all $10,000. When I sold my scooter, gave her the whole $5,000. Cindy, don't tell people I stole any money from you. I did not.
Or else what? What are you going to do if she doesn't stop, Kent? Is that a threat?
Here's the contract between me and Cindy, okay?
Oh, this is a legally binding contract written on a piece of white notebook paper? What? This is ridiculous.
She said it will be $1,300 a month from said ministry for personal use for 21 years. $1,300 a month for 21 years is $300 and some thousand. Whoa. Well, I signed it. Ernie never did. Ernie said, no, we can't make that contract because.
Who cares? Why? Who cares if Ernie didn't sign it? It should be between the husband and wife. And yeah, like 133K is less than 300,000. But if you took out a loan from the bank for $133,000, you're going to be charged interest on that. If you took out a loan, that kind of loan for 20 years, you're going to be charged interest on that. So it's going to be close to that amount of 300,000. So it's a very similar thing.
This is like she's asking for an annuity. And Ernie came on the program last time, said, sorry, we cannot do an annuity. We're not set up that way. We would get in trouble with some kind of government regulating agency. So this.
Oh, because Kent has always been very careful about that, right? Since when do you care, Kent?
Contract was never in force, but 21 years. Cindy, right there. My contract was never signed by Ernie since I forgot to put spousal support in there, and because it was like an annuity. So there's never been a valid contract, Cindy. In spite of that, I kept my word. I gave you $1,300 a month for 2 years, okay? These are the grand total of donations before the agreement. She did donate $90,000. She was my wife. I've put everything into this ministry. Normally, when couples marry, they join finances, join everything, you know. She did not. She kept hers separate, but she did. Very generous.
It's a two-way street, Kent. You still kept yours separate from hers.
Bought 3 houses, and we put a lot of money into those houses. Jeff, you went over there and worked on some of those houses. Yeah, we sent our staff over there to work on her houses, her rental houses. Okay, now, after the agreement, she says she bought the van for $24,000. I agree. The white van I'm driving, she paid $24,000 for it. I knew I was borrowing $25,000 for the van, and I paid it back very quickly. I did not know I was borrowing money for my own underwear and my coffee. Look at the bottom one. $48 for Doc's underwear and laundry soap and coffee. She just kept buying things, adding it to this list. And she would buy things and, oh, Doc needs new underwear, so she'd go buy some. He needs coffee. Yeah, let's see. We need plants. Doc has leg cramps, and so let's buy him some minerals, $45. She bought the Yamaha for $17,000. It's actually a Yanmar. I agree. I've paid her back $50,000 already.
That's not true. I asked Cindy directly about this, and she said that that's a flat-out lie. $17,000 for a Yamaha. You could get a car for that price. And you're saying that she didn't loan a dime to the ministry? What are you talking about, Kent? If you make so much money from your intellectual property, why didn't you tell her not to spend this money?
What other stuff she bought? Let's see. Toilet plunger, $13. You realize if I'm going to pay back 2.5 times, which is what the interest amounts to, that's an expensive toilet plunger. But she just kept buying things that she never gave money. She bought stuff. And thank you for that.
Money can be exchanged for goods. I don't know if you know that, Kent, but they're kind of equivalent.
We needed a toilet plunger. Thank you. Okay. So she says grand total, look at this, 2019 total donations after agreement. Can anybody see that? This is Cindy's text. She said all of them were donations, but now they end up on a so-called bill that she wants paid back. I paid her back.
She doesn't want to get paid back. All she wanted was her $1,300 a month, which you did not give her. You stopped giving it to her. That's all she wanted.
$50,000, which she never mentions when she tells her sob story. She goes on the atheist channels and says, yeah, he took $133,000 of mine. That number changes all the time. I've seen it all the way from 90,000 to 200,000. Cindy, what about the 50 I gave you?
Wow, calling it a sob story? You're a real asshole, Kent. No, the number has not changed. I've seen her write these comments on many videos, and it's always been 133K. Always.
She doesn't mention that. She's done great damage to the ministry. It has cost many thousands to replace her in the job she was doing. And many people have said, Kent, call it even, call it quits. With the damage you've already paid her 50, and the damage she's done, call it even. Alex, maybe you can weigh on that.
Okay, so this is the end of the video where this is where I ended the video, because then you have Kent's lawyer talking for a long time, and the rest of the video is basically just not relevant. The interesting thing is, Kent's lawyer in this video is some guy named Alex, but when it came to this this new arrest, Kent has a lawyer who went to a school that's actually accredited and actually is recognized by the Bar Association. So Kent got a real lawyer this time. I think that's very interesting. Oh, jeez. Well, I could look at the information about the lawyer, but it's not that important. But I think that's gonna do it for this stream, guys. If you haven't, yeah, because we're about right at the hour mark. If you haven't, like the video, and looking at the YouTube statistics for my channel, it says that about 50% of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed to me. So if you haven't, subscribe to the channel, because I've got some very good, very interesting collabs coming out in the month of August. And I'm going to be, I think, doing more videos about this as it unfolds. The reason that I hadn't done any videos about Kent in a little while is because nothing had really happened, but this is obviously a pretty major development. So if you want to support the channel, like the videos, subscribe to the channel, and consider going to patreon.com/atheistjunior and pledging as low as $1 per month. Every bit of support helps. And my patrons are awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you to all my viewers. Thank you to everybody watching the stream. Peace out. Hovind.